All right, what's going on, everyone? We have probably the biggest stream I've wanted to do in weeks. Kind of a random turn of events, but probably one of the best surprises I've ever had in my life. Arc System Works, the studio that made Dragon Ball FighterZ, is making a Marvel team fighter. They are making a Marvel fighting game. This is probably the best thing in 2025, and it's going to be the best thing in 2026. And I want to talk about it. One, because it's just really cool. Two, because you probably think it's really cool. The three, because this says a lot about the future of anime games, fighting games, anime fighting games in general. Because this is a big deal, and I want to kind of talk about it because not everyone who is an anime fan is a fighting game fan, but everyone obviously likes video games. So you might not have the context to understand why this is such a big deal. All of this to say, I kind of want to pick this apart, talk about like what led up to this, and also talk about what this means for like fighting games, but also just anime games in general. Because basically what this means is the ceiling for anime games has just been raised, right? So traditionally, you know, it's mostly been like arena fighters, and then you get the occasional game that's like genuinely a good, interesting game like Dragon Ball FighterZ, right? And especially with anime games, it is dominated by fighting games. Right, a lot of Dragon Ball fighting games. It's only recently that we've started to see a bit of exploration into other genres. Like we got DBZ Kakarot. That was more of an RPG slash action game, not really a fighting game. We have the One Piece games like One Piece Odyssey. That's more of like an RPG slash hack and slash, right? So it's interesting because now, so traditionally, it's usually just one of these Japanese studios making a game for a Japanese IP. And, you know, they might be popular, but that's kind of whatever. But so, for example, with Dragon Ball FighterZ, that was Arc System Works, a very small Japanese studio, working with Bandai Namco, another Japanese company. But now we have Arc System Works, so that same small company. They are working with Marvel, one of the biggest IPs ever. And they are working with Sony, who is also a Japanese company, but it's also like a global, like a massively global company. So the reason this is a big deal is because now there is potential for, say, Shonen Jump IP to work with global companies, right? Like Sony or Marvel or whoever, and make like these really impressive video games. We got Grace in the chat. What's going on, Grace? How am I doing? I'm experiencing sensory overload. I've probably watched this Marvel Tokon trailer 40 times. I've watched it way too much. We got Eddie Rayman in the chat. We got Justin in the chat. All the usual people. What's going on, everybody? Grace wants to know, do I think we'll get a Dawn game soon? Excuse me. I think at some point we'll probably get maybe like a Dawn mobile game. Maybe an arena fighter if we get lucky, but nothing crazy. Jujutsu Kaisen during the second season, I believe, got an arena fighter, and it was whatever. and that was a huge anime. So Don about as popular, I would say, maybe less so. Could get an arena fighter, but I kind of doubt it. We got Eden's in the chat. Eden's, are you a big Marvel guy? I don't know if we've talked about this. I don't know if you're a big comic book guy. I'm not like a huge comic book guy, but I love Marvel. Part of why this is a big deal, if you're not really familiar with the fighting game scene, obviously when it comes to Marvel and fighting games, everyone associates Marvel with Capcom, because back in the late 90s and early 2000s, Capcom kind of made their name with Marvel versus Capcom. They made the first one. It was either Capcom or Street Fighter versus X-Men. Then they made Marvel versus Capcom. They made Marvel versus Capcom 2, Marvel versus Capcom 3, and then in like 2015, I think, they made Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. And that game was terrible. It was so bad that even fighting game people were like, I hate this game. So the reason this particular Marvel game is such a big deal is because this is Marvel officially saying Capcom has lost our partnership, our work, and we're giving it to Arc System Works, the small company that made Dragon Ball FighterZ. So it's a big deal because Marvel, they've switched companies basically, and that's a big deal for anime games because now this means that if this is the ceiling for like anime fighters, we could see a future where they do this for similar like Japanese games, like Japanese IP, like say One Piece, where they get this collaboration of small Japanese studio, big global company, right? Like what I could see happening is that Sony starts to work with, say, Shonen Jump to develop like these really big, high quality games. And if you think about that for a second, that means not just fighters, but like single player games. Because what has Sony been doing? They've been coming out with a lot of single player games like the Spider-Man games. So imagine the Spider-Man Insomniac games meets One Piece, right? Like you get One Piece Odyssey, but at Insomniac, right? Like the Sony version, basically. They could do the same with Don if they really wanted to. They could do it with Jujutsu Kaisen. They could do it with Chainsaw Man. The reason I'm like so excited about this, obviously because I love fighting games, but also because this means there's a new level of potential for anime games. TLDR, we are not getting Fighters 2, at least not soon. This is going to be like the game everyone is talking about. And look forward to anime games in 2026 and onward, because if this is what they're doing at the top level, there's a lot to look forward to for Shonen Jump stuff in the future. Excuse me, we got Gamer Chan Leanne in the chat. What's going on, Leanne? Pleasure to have you as always. So Eden's is a Marvel guy, comic book guy, not counting MCU. Yeah, the MCU versus the comics is always a bit of a contrast. Arc System Works are cooking. It's on leaked. I'm surprised there isn't a Sega Nickelodeon crossover. Yeah, Nickelodeon really dropped the ball with the Rumbleverse game. Speaking of Shonen Jump, we have an announcement of 4 new series. Yeah, and they're really weird. I think this is probably going to be the most nothing ball batch of 2025. It's crazy to me. The creators of Phantom Seer, they supposedly got cheated by Roboco, right? Because everyone was like Roboco is still a thing, but Phantom Seer is getting cut. People thought that was crazy, and now people have been waiting for that duo to come out with another battle shonen, and they're like, oh, we're making a baseball manga. What? Like, just think about that for a second. They went from Exorcist battle series, which is like the most hyped thing in Shonen Jump, to baseball series. Not even like volleyball, not even like racing, not even whatever, soccer, right? Which is huge. Baseball. So I think they have the potential to make a really popular manga in Japan, but I think Western fans are going to be like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Like, they're just not going to care. When is Martial King coming out? I think today. We'll probably read a new chapter today. Oh, what do I think of the live action Chopper? I think he looks fine. I think he looks exactly what I think. He looks exactly like how I would have expected. I think Chopper was always going to look more realistic than manga Chopper. That's the thing about live action, is people have an idea of what a character looks like in their heads. So it's very hard to translate to live action when One Piece is so cartoonish. It's funny because a baseball romance series just came out on Manga Plus like 3 weeks ago. A lot of sports series are happening. I feel like they're trying to copy Blue Box. Like, particularly Shonen Jump is in a weird spot where they don't really have a hype romance series, and they, foregoing Blue Box for a second, like forget Blue Box for a second, besides Blue Box, they don't really have a hype sports manga, and they don't really have a hype romance manga. So I feel like they're trying to do double duty here by copying Blue Box. Instead of having, you know, a bunch of romance series and a bunch of, really it's 2 birds 1 stone, right? They have to have a romance series. It's a staple of every magazine, and they gotta have a sports series because that's also a staple of every magazine. So it's kind of 2 birds 1 stone for them to be like, well, what if we just made manga that are both? So in a way, I feel like Blue Box could be Pandora's box, where Shonen Jump just starts making manga that are like half romance, half sports manga, but not really either one. People want a Chopper to have the big round eyes. That's the same reason people don't like Boichi's version of One Piece, because people have an idea of the characters in their heads that is very simple, and when you add a ton of detail to One Piece characters, they're so different from what the original character looks like. People are biased against that new version. Hardcore One Piece fans don't like Boichi because his style is so different from Oda's. And so that's why people don't like Chopper. People are fine with all the live actors because those are real people. So it's like, it's almost so different that you can't really compare them. But once you have like an animated character like Chopper, now they're in sort of the same world, and people have expectations. You don't have expectations for real life people because you can't draw real life people. Once it's an animated character, people have certain expectations. Don't mention Blue Box, it makes me sick. Regardless of what myself or anyone in chat or what anybody says about Blue Box, it's the number 10 manga on Manga Plus. It's been one of the top manga, one of the top Shueisha manga for years, which is crazy to me. I don't get why people like it. And it's like meatheads recommending it too. It's like JJK people. That's what it seems like anyway. It's like JJK people recommending it. It's so weird. It's such an anomaly to me. I had a conversation regarding comedy and seriousness. What was the takeaway? Should be moved down. It shouldn't be anything because it's just a metric of how many people are reading it. To give you a frame of reference, so Black Clover is technically still running. It is more popular than Black Clover. That's how popular Blue Box is. It is almost as popular as Sakamoto Days, Spy Family, and Kaiju number 8. That is how popular Blue Box is, which is insane. It started out sounding like praise, then it becomes, which is crazy to me. I don't get why people like it. I have to respect it simply for the fact that it's one of the top selling manga of this generation. And it's in a genre that typically, well, that's not true. It's in a weird position where it shouldn't be able to, because it's such a weird combination of genres and tropes. But it's very popular. It sells a ton of copies, and it's somehow like aesthetically like a shoujo manga that gets meatheads to read it. Like, it's weirdly a like very shoujo looking manga that somehow gets hardcore One Piece and JJK fans to stan it. I don't understand it, and it is what it is, but I can't argue that. That's just facts. Only Chopper fans and casual fans enjoy him. One Piece fans are One Piece fans. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. We got Soul in the chat. Soul, how many times? Be honest. Give me a number. I want to see a number in chat. How many times have you watched that Marvel trailer? I'm on like number 40. I've watched the Marvel trailer like 40 times. But yeah, let me see. Martial King should have come out, I believe. No, so new chapter next week. So we will not be reading Martial King today. We'll read it next week. That doesn't sound right. Oh no, there was a new chapter today. Okay, so we'll read the new chapter today. My bad. Like 15. Those are rookie numbers. You gotta get that way up, man. Excuse me. But yeah, before we take a look at Martial King, I want to look at the oh, we gotta talk about Kaiju number 8. I have a bunch of things I want to talk about. So let's go to ranking on Manga Plus, and then I want to look at, I always forget to do this. I want to look at the ranking on Shonen Jump as well. So let's look at Shonen Jump first. What's hot this week? Ichi the Witch, One Piece, Kagurabachi, Sakamoto Days, Odor of the Flame, Chainsaw Man Spy Family, Boruto. Interestingly, Dandadan is not in the top 8 in Shonen Jump. That's very unlike Dandadan. I feel like it would be in the top 10, but obviously Shonen Jump only gives you the top 8. But those are all the same, all the usual suspects. So that's Shonen Jump. The top 10 for Manga Plus: Boruto at number 1, One Piece at number 2, Chainsaw Man, Dandadan at number 4. So again, Dandadan must be in the top 10 on Jump. Odor of the Flame at number 5, which means it is currently beating Kaiju number 8, Spy Family, Sakamoto Days, Kagurabachi, and Blue Box, and Ichi the Witch at number 11 at just 5 chapters. So I remember not too long ago, I think it was either last week or the week before, I had said how it's kind of crazy that Odor of the Flame is already, I think it was in like the top 10. And I said it might float around top 10 and then go to like 20 and then come back up. It's on, what chapter is it on? It's on chapter 4 and it's already in the top 5. That is crazy. That is insane. People are eating up Odor of the Flame. Now granted, it's still only chapter 4. There's still plenty of time for it to like kind of plateau for a bit or fall off for a bit. I'm chopped. I'm assuming that means ripped. And even if it doesn't, I'm just beefy. What are your thoughts and opinion on that YouTube user King Mad trash talking different? I have no idea. Who is King Mad? I've never heard of that person. I should really put my phone away. As I go to YouTube, the first video for fellow fighting game fans, Maximilian Dude, what about Marvel versus Capcom? So for people who care, I'm just going to make a quick comment. I have a feeling Capcom is doing one of 3 things for their non-Street Fighter game. They are either doing Capcom versus SNK, or they're doing I totally lost my train of thought. So Marvel versus SNK, so like Terry Bogard. Marvel versus some other IP that's like totally brand new, never been done before. Or, in an even more insane twist, there's potential for Capcom to do Capcom versus DC now that they're not doing Marvel. I don't know. I'd be curious to hear everyone's thoughts, but let me look. Capcom versus Shonen Jump would be insane, but I don't know what the odds of that are. Even just Capcom versus Dragon Ball would be godly. Oh, I typed that wrong. Hold on. Mad King. King Mad, excuse me. Yeah, I've never heard of this person before. Dandadan is overrated garbage. Of course it is. I'm guessing it's their #1 video. No, but that's basic. They just seem like a hater. so I really have no interest in watching their videos. Might be possible to do DC. I mean, Warner Brothers wants to make that money, so then again, it's a whole thing. Yeah, the new batch of manga is puzzling, to say the least, if you ask me. Am I watching the Dawn to Dawn movie? No. I don't typically watch the like anime prequel movies, right? The movies they drop before a new season. Not for any particular reason. I'm not anti anime movies. I would just rather go watch like a One Piece movie, right? Like a One Piece Red or a One Piece Film Z or a One Piece Gold, right? Or when they used to be good, the My Hero movies. That being said, I will definitely be watching the Chainsaw Man Reze movie. That is going to be insane. Anyway, real quick. So we got Boruto, One Piece, Chainsaw Man, Dawn to Dawn, Odor of the Flame, Kaiju number 8, Spy Family, Sakamoto, Kagurabachi. So largely unchanged, minus the fact that Odor of the Flame is now top 5. An actual movie, yeah, exactly. I'm not against the whole trend of them like taking episodes and making a movie. I think more stuff for people to watch is good. It's just not something I really want to, you know, go out and go pay $30 to go watch. Excuse me. Josh Copland said, tell me about it. Tell you about what? Oh, the Reze movie is going to be insane. Generational. Excuse me, Chainsaw Man or Demon Slayer? Who's going to win is better? Chainsaw Man. Anyway, I want to look at the rest of the top 40. Kyoshi still stuck at like 34, which is still good for a new-ish manga, but compared to Ichi the Witch, and especially now Odor of the Flame, is not great. It's not bad at all. It's actually good that it's in the top 40. It's really good. I mean, Roboco isn't in the top 40. A bunch of other Jump manga aren't in the top 40. But that also means it's teetering. Chojin X at number 29. That's pretty standard. Marriage Toxin at 32. So Marriage Toxin slightly going up, because Marriage Toxin was like number 40-ish, and now it's coming back. Which is really good. Embers 37, so Embers I believe is explain how Astro Baby isn't a good manga in your opinion. I only read the first Astro Baby. Which one is Astro Baby? Why am I blanking here? Oh, I have not read nearly enough of Astro Baby to have an opinion on it. Yeah, it's got 35 chapters. Is that Weekly Shonen Jump? No. I guess it's Jump Plus? Yeah, it's not in Weekly Shonen Jump. Warner Brothers needs heavy hitters. They're just the presidents of being dumbasses. Like, they're the kings of taking great IPs and fumbling them like nobody else. It's Jump Plus. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I don't read Astro Baby, so I have no idea. Anyway, so this week's Manga Plus rankings are largely the same, except for Odor of the Flame and where was it? Martial King. Martial King is an interesting one because it was hovering around 20. It's at one point it was like top 10, and now it's at 24, which is still good, but it does seem to be on a slight decline, if I'm not mistaken. It at the very least, it seems stagnant. Consistent, but stagnant. So hopefully the story picks up at some point in the near future. I'm not worried yet, but it is on the horizon, so to speak. Wanted my thoughts before you consider reading it. I have no idea. I don't even think I've read the first chapter. I don't know. I wish I could say more. If Berserk got animated third time, what studio would I want to animate it? That's a toughie. Honestly, and I know this sounds kind of random, but I feel like Science Saru might be the best studio, because they're very talented, but they actually give a shit. So they're not like Toei, where Toei has all the big names, but unless it's One Piece or weirdly enough Dragon Quest, they have no problem making the whole show with AI. And I'm worried that if Toei picked up a Berserk anime, they would just make that whole show with AI. Science Saru could go for like a whole Devilman Crybaby vibe, and I feel like it would fit Berserk. Besides that, I would probably say Mappa, just for a very basic answer. I don't think Bones would be a good fit. I don't think Trigger would be a good fit. Maybe Studio Wit. Anyway, so those are all the rankings. Martial King I want to take a look at some point, but we got to talk about Kaiju number 8. Kaiju number 8, in like a completely different way, is such an anomaly. Or I can't even call it an anomaly, because it's becoming an increasing trend for like manga to be super popular, but also have nobody talk about them. So if you didn't see Kaiju number 8, somebody, it hasn't been like an official account, I don't think, but people are saying Kaiju number 8 is going to end in 2 chapters, which means if it ends in 2 chapters, it will end on chapter 129. So let's pick that apart. That is very short for a series as hyped up, as lucrative, and as much as Shueisha has invested in this series. That is very short. Like, for a frame of reference, Undead Unluck was like 250 chapters. Bro, where is, for shits and giggles, let's see. Let's try this again. The Promised Neverland is, I should say, course, Manga Plus doesn't want to tell me. The Promised Neverland was 182, 3, 4, 5 chapters technically. If you want to go by, I guess, canon, 181, 182, but basically 180 chapters. Kaiju number 8, if it ends in 2 chapters, will not even be 130 chapters. What does that translate to? Oh, come on. Kaiju number 8. Let's go back. Kaiju number 8. That would mean Kaiju number 8 would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So like maybe 18 volumes, something like that. That's crazy. What was Demon Slayer? Demon Slayer was like 24 volumes, right? Demon Slayer was 23 volumes and ended with chapter 205. So Demon Slayer, or excuse me, Kaiju number 8 isn't even going to be as long as Demon Slayer. So basically, Kaiju number 8 is in this really weird spot where it's consistently in like the top 5, top 10 most read manga for Shueisha. But nobody talks about it. The anime is like whatever. And apparently the sales are mediocre enough that they're just cutting it. Like what? It's such a weird series for Shueisha because it's this weird mix of like it's incredibly popular but somehow feels like a loss. It feels like a fumble. And I don't know why, other than people just don't like the manga. Which doesn't make sense because people are reading it. It's consistently for like the last year or two been at least the number 10 most read Shueisha manga. So I feel like it's kind of like Attack on Titan. And I say that deliberately because people have always compared it to Attack on Titan. But I feel like it's almost like Attack on Titan, where people don't really even care about the story anymore. They're just reading it because it's popular, or that they've been reading it and they just want to follow it to the end. It's so weird. Have I read the Martial King chapter? No, not yet. Excuse me. No, not yet. I feel like anime studios don't care about manga authors. That's not always true. I think with anime, it is a balance of prospect and incentive. Shueisha, I don't know if they're worse than EA or Activision. I wouldn't compare them to like EA or Activision necessarily, but I don't know. The whole Kaiju number 8 thing is very weird. Is Kyoto Animation anime worth watching? I don't know. I can't recall any specific anime that they've made. I just know they're supposed to be really good. But yeah, Kaiju was super. I just, for a frame of reference, I want to see what the hype looks like for season 2 of the anime. We go to Kaiju number 8. Let's look at Mal first. Or let's go to, let's just look at the spring season. So we go to anime, seasonal anime. Let's go to summer 2025. Kaiju number 8 is the number 3 most anticipated anime on Mal. It is My Dress Up Darling, Dawn to Dawn, then Kaiju, Call of the Night, Shield Hero, some rom-com anime, I'm guessing. Sakamoto Days. Grand Blue Season 2. Dr. Stone, which is going to be huge. Gachi Akuta is not that hyped up. It's only a few spots above Rent a Girlfriend. I feel like Gachi Akuta might get slept on. Gachi Akuta seems kind of slept on right now. I've been saying for a while that I think it's one of the best ongoing manga, but I said that I did our poll last time and everyone voted Dawn to Dawn over Gachi Akuta, and I feel like only Gachi Akuta fans really care about the anime. I haven't really seen anyone hyping it up, and it's the number 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Oh, I passed it. 3, 6, 9. The number 11. So it's not even in the top 10 of most hyped up anime on Mal. Let's see. Will live charts show that for me? Live charts. Let's go to, yeah. Summer 2025. Sorry, brain fart there. Yeah, also on live charts, Gachi Akuta. Granted, they mix in other stuff like One Piece. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. It is the number 19 most popular anime, or most anticipated anime on live charts. Gachi Akuta is very under the radar right now, which is surprising. I thought it would be way more hyped up. There's not a lot of hype going into Gachi Akuta. My prediction is that there's gonna be a switch up. I think it's Studio Bones, and it's the spiritual successor of Okubo, you know, Fire Force and Soul Eater. So I think there's gonna be an upset. I think it's gonna kind of be an underdog, or the what's the expression, the black horse. It's gonna come out of nowhere and dominate the season, or at least be like a top 3 contender. But yeah, nobody really cares about Gachi Akuta. That's crazy. Monica Rial. I'm not familiar with who that is. Who is that? Might be Japan against Trash System. Yeah, I don't know. Gachi Akuta is gonna be a sort of touch and go situation, evidently. Really, Grace, you did not like Galaxius? Can you tell me what you didn't like about it? I never know that Monica and Bulma have so much in common. Oh, is that the voice actress for Bulma? Not anime, but will you watch Squid Game 3? I don't really watch Squid Game. It looks really cool, but with the very spare time I have not working on videos, I'm either playing video games or watching anime. Or watching whatever random show I watch. Like, I was really into Reacher. Fun fact, The Bear is coming out at the end of the month. I'll be watching that instantly. Okay, so she is the voice of Bulma. So, oh, she voices somebody in Call of Night. That's pretty cool. It was kind of boring in the beginning of the chapter. It was utterly unbearable. If you don't like chapter 1 of Galaxias, I don't think you'll like the rest of the manga, but that is surprising. I really like it because it feels like a classic shonen, like a classic 2000s shonen, but if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's interesting. But yeah, let's take a look at Martial King and then we'll probably wrap up the stream. Let's just make sure I read the last chapter, which I believe I did. Okay, so the last chapter, recap, the teacher had to take on her turn for, you know, fighting a bunch of duelists, sharpshooters. She fought 18 people, so she beat Jim's number. His was like 13, I think. So she came out of it alive. So she won that round. So it's 1-1. They have a final round. The final round is the race. The final bout will be a quick draw and close quarters combat interchanged. This time the students will choose their rep. Your opponent will be... Oh, he has to fight Mira Black? Abby? Possible Mira hype moment. But this time you'll be firing 60,000 shots. What? The overwhelming prowess of Mira Abigail Black. Okay, so this just got insanely hype. Oh my god, is this going to be Mira Black aura moment? Question mark. What shirt am I wearing? I'm wearing a Carhartt shirt. I try to wear comfortable shirts that also look clean and not just like cheap t-shirts. Try to look somewhat adultish. Anyway, the principal says, Jim Godspeed, I acknowledge your overwhelming strength. Blah, blah, blah. You're not ready to graduate. It's time for the final challenge, right? What we were just reading. You'll be facing Mira Black. This bout will combine 60,000 quick draw shots in close quarters combat. So how's this gonna work? They brought in a whole bunch of ammo. They're 44 Magnum bullets, obviously. We've got ice water. If you're, they're gonna shoot so many bullets that they have to bring in ice to cool down the guns. That's hilarious. Age 7. I underwent this training at age 7. It took 3 days. Once you fire 20,000 shots, excuse me, 20,000 shots, you'll fight hand to hand for 3 minutes. This is going to be crazy. So they're going to shoot each other 20,000 times. Oh no, they're racing? So they're racing to see. I'm kind of confused at what they're doing. They're doing targets, I guess, for 20,000 shots. And then once they finish, they're just kind of boxing. Oh, you thought... It does kind of... I guess from a distance, it does look like the Crunchyroll logo. No, Crunchyroll has not sponsored me. They haven't sent me merch. Not yet, anyway. Dude, firing 20,000 bullets 3 times has got to be the craziest feat in a Western ever. I don't even think you would be able to hold the gun if you shot 20,000 bullets. That's crazy. This is such a Boichi manga too. It's like Dr. Stone level ridiculous. Like, oh yeah, it's kind of realistic, but also not really. So basically they're hyping Mira up, saying she might not be, you know, the most hype martial, but she has more training and discipline than everyone else. Which I'm guessing she's going to win this fight, which will set up the point that, like, as talented and as raw and aura farming as Jim Godspeed is, he doesn't have the training of Mira Black, hence why he's going to stay at the academy. Learned a bevy of things: stamina distribution, tactics, breathing, rhythm, iron will. So she beat Jim. Whoever finishes first gets to strike first, right? The next bout is going to be FU or whatever. So she goes to kick Jim Godspeed. She does like a 180 kick, a flip kick, basically. The most dramatic kick I think I've ever seen in my life. Kicks him in the face. It's precise and accurate. So she's basically a ninja. Bro. I guess the angles. Mira Black is like the anime cowboy version of, like, I don't even know what. Like, this is crazy. But bro, the angles on those kicks. Boichi knows what he's doing. Jim, meanwhile, is so tired from shooting a gun 20,000 times, he can't even keep his arms up. Jim's pissed because Mira Black is already hyping herself up like she already won the fight, which is hilarious. Distracting you with conversation to catch you off guard is pretty pathetic, but it worked out this time around. Wait a minute. He grabs her by the leg, which she has been using to kick the shit out of him. He picks her up and lifts her by the back and oh, he picks her up by the leg and back. Okay. Manga Plus being weird. But it's Jim Godspeed though. He's not going to do like a Bane and like break her back, right? That's crazy. Did I see the Dispatch demo game? No, it's the first time hearing of it. I don't even know what that is. Anyway, Marshall King stays winning. Hype chapter, as always. Disappointing to see it kind of stagnating in the Jump Plus numbers, but plenty of potential to come back up. I'm happy to see it still on the top 40 at the very least. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you everybody for coming to the stream. Great discussion as usual. Make sure to look out for videos this weekend. We got 2 videos this weekend, one tomorrow and one Saturday. There will be a stream Sunday. Can I give you all the manga I'm caught up with? No, it's too many to list off the top of my head. We'll have to do a stream at some point. But yeah, stream Sunday, and then that's it for now. Thanks everybody.